Let's bring in Art Laffer, former Reagan economist, and David Malpass, former World Bank president. Gentlemen, great to see you. Thank you for being here. Art, we had this capital goods orders number come in 4 times more than was expected. It was expected to come in positive 0.2%. It came in at a positive 0.9%. Now, these were numbers from September. We have to say that it was before the shutdown, so that might have changed things. But meanwhile, we had the September wholesale inflation number that was also from September, less than expected. So we have a perfect world of strong growth and lower inflation.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone didn't expect it, David. Gosh, if you look at supply-side economics, this is exactly what you'd expect. And I think the world's starting now, and I think we're going to really just be on a rocket ship going forward. I have never been more optimistic about the future of this country than I am today.
Wow.
On taxes, on government spending, on financials, on regulations, on trade. It's all coming through. The shutdown was a big disappointment, but it only goes to show you what happens when jealous people look and realize what they couldn't do, we did do, and Trump deserves all the credit for all this, along with Johnson and Thune. I mean, they just did an amazing job, and we're off to the races.
And, you know, this, again, David, is you don't need to be told. This is coming from one of Reagan's top advisors. He's saying this moment is actually more spectacular in terms of growth than all the other indices than it was then. But I imagine, and Art, jump in if I get this wrong, but part of the reason that it's not similar to Reagan, that it's more fast, it's working quicker than Reagan. Reagan's tax cuts took about 2 years to really kick in because they had to make deals with the Democrats, with Tip O'Neill at the time, right?
That's right. He got a little weak advice because Art wasn't there yet, and so he delayed the tax cuts. But this time they're coming through quickly and causing business investment. When you lower the rates, you get more of it, and that's what's showing up in those capital goods numbers. I think it's really important to look at the energy side. The fall in the gasoline prices is due to the expectation that there's going to be a lot more production of energy, not just in the U.S., but I hope around the world, and that really changes people's lives. That hits the pocketbook very quickly. We're going to have tax refunds coming through because people haven't adjusted their withholding, and Secretary Bessent has been exactly right on that. That'll help with people feeling the tax cut even more next year. So I think we do have a supply-side revolution. That's tax cuts and sound money, and that always works. So that's happening now.
And backdating the write-offs for expenses is why we're having all of these capital expenditures right now, isn't it, Art? I mean, you put it back to
sure is.
They put it back
sure
to
is.
January 20th, the day in which the inauguration happened, and Trump got his second term.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with one of the little blips that occurred before we came on. Lutnick was talking about how it should go to pay the deficit down and not do there.
Right.
You know, what I think should happen is I think we should get a tariff payout, but the tariff payout should not be in a check, a dividend check. It should be cutting the payroll tax rate on both employers and employees, who were the ones who did it to create a surge in output, employment, and production. The revenue losses will be very, very small because if you make it a time-sensitive employers here, you can get this jump. We do not need to send a check out because if you pay, which would you prefer, David? Which would you prefer? To give checks to people who don't work or to cut tax rates on people who do work?
Right.
And the key here is making sure we incentivize production, because if you are worried about affordability, affordability is always more goods available, which is a supply-side proposition, and this is a supply-side policy to really get this country going and win the midterms and then win re-election in 2028?
Yeah, you did ask me a question. I got to answer to the president's on the president's behalf. I think he could say, look, these checks will just go to taxpayers if we send out the checks.
No.
Would that be all right?
It can't do it that way. No, it's not all right.
Okay, tell us why.
It has to be for the incentive to work, because you need to see it there that your tax rate's lower, your after tax is higher if you work more or if you go get a job. Not for what you did do. This is not an equity thing. This is not, this is not all the feeling wheelings and stuff. This is about facts.
Right.
You need to cut tax rates on people's prospectively to work. Otherwise, it will make them them not work. If you give a guy $1 million, they usually don't work overtime that week.
Yes.
So you don't want to give them a check,
which will cause
them not to work.
It's a very simple phrase that I think you taught me. 2 words: incentives matter. And that would be the incentive.
And they matter
way.
on the margin.
Exactly. All right.
On the margin.
David, I have to ask you about something that's happening in another area of the world south of us. There is this revolution taking place against socialism. It hasn't gone everywhere, but you look at countries like Chile that are about to throw the socialists out. Colombia is about to get rid of petro and put in a free market here. If Venezuela gets rid of Maduro and that whole socialist scheme that they've had for a couple of decades now, we may see the end of socialism in Nicaragua and Cuba as well. That could be the first time Cuba's seen any kind of resemblance of a free market in 60 years. So is it possible that the entire Western Hemisphere is going to be more pro-free market?
Yes, David, and I think it's already happening. You didn't mention Bolivia and Argentina, and so there is sweeping across Latin America is the desire for people to get better lives. That means to have jobs. That means to be allowed to work, to have sound money, and that is sweeping. And don't forget the resources in Latin America, whether in Venezuela or in Mexico or really across the region. I want to come back, though, to what we were talking about. I think there are mechanisms for extending the supply-side revolution. There could be another reconciliation bill.
Yes.
Pretty soon, President Trump will be able to celebrate 1 year from his inauguration with huge success. So he has a State of the Union message that could be about growth. And I think, and I want to, Art Laffer's the champion of this. If you cut the rate on capital gains, you're going to get a windfall for the government and better allocation of capital across the country. So you've got all of that, along with the payroll tax cut that Art's talking about, that could go into a reconciliation bill and get done quickly and be in time for operating all through 2026.
Well, Art, you're not only a genius in economics, but you also know a lot about politics too. Politically, could that be done before the end of next year? Have another reconciliation bill that would have a cut in capital gains. It would have all kinds of tax cut incentives in it.
Well, there's no money-back guarantee on my advice on this because I'm not an expert here. But yes, I think it can be done. But the one thing I want to do is have the tax cuts in the reconciliation bill and watch how the Democrats vote.
Yes.
And let them be on the record for not cutting capital gains tax or not cutting payroll taxes for workers, and they would be against affordability. I mean, they've been against it all the way along with their inflation and their transfers and all that garbage last administration. But now I want them to assert, we're pro-affordability or we're against affordability. And the only thing for affordability, David, is an increase in the supply of goods and services. It's a supply-side approach 100%.
Yeah, and the more services and products that you have in the economy, the lower inflation is. You can have both strong growth and low inflation.
And more
maybe
people
even
get
the Fed will begin to understand that.
That will happen
very
the dollar
soon.
and
Final word, David. Go ahead.
Yeah, we could switch to a price rule monetary policy and defend the dollar, and that was core of the supply side revolution in the 80s.
Absolutely.
The stable dollar enabled investment.
You want to make sure the dollar you earn today is going to be worth the same tomorrow and maybe even next year. Gentlemen, great to see you. I could go on for an hour with you two. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, guys. Appreciate you being here.
David, you two are great. I love you both.
You too, Art. Thanks.
Thank you, all three.